Hello everyone, this is Altar, and this segment is here to let you know that after about a year of producing content for Offworld Trading Company, Mohawk Games contracted me out to do some QA consulting work for them. This video was made during the time that contract was active. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the video. So I'm totally fine with it. Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 1 in our best of 3 series between Death Tacticus and Blues. I'll be honest, this is a match that I could have seen in the finals if they were on opposite sides of the bracket, but not going to happen this tournament as it turns out.
Nope. Unfortunately not.
This is interesting water.
Yes.
That's what I've really noticed so far. Oxygen expensive, carbon expensive, steel, aluminum, and chems not. But this water is what I find most interesting about this map right now.
Found it.
Blues decides.
And I'm like completely ignoring the combo tiles up here that Blues wanted.
Yep, he liked those combo tiles. And he said, I'm having them.
Yep, absolutely.
Straight to level 2.
Well, that's what robots do, isn't it? I mean, he's going to have quashed a lot of resources in here.
Yeah. He definitely got his money's worth.
So
TT does get the nice water. Which, Offworld's food's looking good. The rest of it's not so great.
well, I mean, it's Blues that took the water. Let's just,
Oh, yes. I do apologise. You're absolutely right.
It's just a little late for you, but that's fine. So, Blues has pretty much guaranteed that DT does not get access to the double high water tiles. No adjacency there for him. And he's also kind of in some ways forcing DT to... He's trying to force DT to, like, take this other water tile and not do anything else with his claim. Otherwise, Blues threatens, I'm just going to take both high water tiles, and what on earth are you going to do then?
You're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah. Alright, DT does take it.
Has he fallen into the trap, though?
What trap is that?
Very well, Blues has forced him to take that one.
I think it's okay. I don't know if it's a trap. I think it's just like... It's more you're being attacked and threatened in this way, and so you have to defend against it. Also, one important thing to note, you can tell the high-level play we have going on here, because Death Tacticus has split his buildings apart, only has 2 steel mills in any given location. It's not necessarily perfectly done, but he has kind of forced Blues to focus all of his attacks right onto this iron here. And Blues, you see a similar thing in his area, splitting the steel apart away, not relying completely on the adjacency bonuses, ensuring that Black Market won't completely knock him out.
I hate to call it early, but...
Oh, DT's in a world of hurt already.
Oh, yes.
Like...
Unbelievable amount of hurt.
On the other hand, DT has options here. And his options would have been to not put down so much steel and instead build these reactors already. And that's what he's going to do now.
Yeah. I mean, Blues being robot, he's going to want a high price for steel. That's going to be his main resource to get his cash.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue's also taken this geotherm. I actually like this detail. This is important to point out for a robotic player. Blues takes the high water pump that's next to the geotherm. And so when he puts this geotherm down, he will get a bonus to production for his high water pump. And considering water is going to be so difficult to acquire this map, that's a pretty nice move overall.
That is a nice move. It is a long way. Long way from his base.
Oh, well, that's going to hurt.
Yep. That's going to cost a lot to put back together.
That's a lot of steel. Even at only $40, $50 of steel, that's an awful lot of it to have to spend.
60 steel he's got to find.
60 more on top of what he already has.
Yes. Going to slow him down getting that second one. We got Mars plot is a carbon.
Yep. What are we going to... Like, this carbon, how do you value this? It's such a weird decision. Like, Blues is going to take it for 14. I don't know if that's worth it, I'll be honest.
I think Blues has got an eye on doing electronics later.
Perhaps,
He's
but...
going to...
You're up against somebody who has dry ice, and he's already in a B level of debt. He is a robot, but I don't know.
I don't know if DT's going to have time to utilize his dry ice as much as he'd like to. Maybe later on he'll get into it, but...
No, it's true. I'm just worried about the sheer amount of debt. That's my primary concern here. And also, like, power's expensive. That tile is very far away. You can see he's not even using it right now. It hasn't even, like, started the quarry or anything just yet.
Yeah, nearly 100k's worth of debts. That's slightly worrying. But if he gets his 2 geothermals up, he's going to be making power bank. He's going to make some good money on power. I really want to see DT start. Oh, he's got a goon squad. He's given that geothermal back by the water, and he's moving into 3 farms.
Yeah, he wants to make money instead of worrying about power, which is kind of an acceptable decision, but I'm a bit concerned about it realistically because he's not paying back debt effectively at that point. He's just... And these interest ticks are going to hurt. He's only paying back 85-ish a second for blues. And then he just gets frozen out. That's actually maybe a bit too aggressive out of DT. This power surge?
Yeah, he should have waited.
For the triangle.
That's it, wait and get them all.
Okay, I like this move out of blues. He's going to adrenaline boost his goon squatted geotherm. I always like seeing that play. I think if he's going for this play, he kind of picked the wrong geotherm to secure. If DT were paying attention, he likely would have taken it away from blues when blues got rid of it. But this is a nice, secure 4 power a second. The same amount that DT is producing off of his 2 geotherms, but DT doesn't have either of them defended at all.
He's running a risk there.
Yeah. Especially because, once again, 1v1, blues knows those aren't defended because he can see that a goon squad has not been purchased.
That's it. But yeah, and blues, obviously he knew because DT had just put down the freeze on him, he knew that he could, even if he didn't have a goon squad, he could go for the boost.
Market is online.
Yeah.
DT's moving in 3 food there, try and compete with blues, which is good move.
I think that's
Stop
the right
both.
idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Now, this is when you're allowed to take an optimization center.
yes. Yeah, this is worth money.
This is worth quite a bit of money. I mean, chems are at $48. There's no labs driving up that price anywhere. You can see Death Tacticus thinks this is very valuable. Blues probably thinks the same thing, but maybe being a bit punished for taking that worthless, so far, carbon tile.
Blues has to be careful, he can't bid too much because his debt is come down quite significantly, actually.
It has come down significantly.
DT now is looking
And DT's got the debt now, but
at a lot of debts.
Blues long term, it's important to remember that Blues hasn't established 2 geotherms. He still has the 1 only. So DT permanently, pretty much, is going to have those geotherms online, pulling in for a second. He's also managed to push ahead of the robot in upgrades along with this, despite spending so much more steel to establish these geotherms.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show the quality of DT. I mean, he's from what was a dreadful situation to start with. He's turned it around very nicely.
Absolutely. Awful start, but does manage to, and it's like I said, being willing to get rid of that steel when it wasn't making him money and commit to a different building. That's such an important thing to be able to do.
Yeah, definitely. And he's moved into now 2 glass. Slightly, but I don't know if I wanted to do that. He's running a risk.
Bad. But, you know. The glass I don't mind, really.
I don't like the position of it.
Oh, well, the position of it is perhaps a bit weak. But on the other hand, he already has this other wonderful target for his steel, so do you care if you give us, like, a secondary weak target to get hit?
That is a very good point.
Food being upgraded. All this food is just losing money on the map right now. DT did Blues a little bit of a favor in freezing his out because of this dust storm that's going on.
He's not losing much, is he?
Not losing much. But, I mean, Tile's losing any money at all is definitely going to be a bit of a risk. You can see once they sell down their water stockpiles for each other, suddenly the farms are looking a little bit better. But still, everything just a little bit awkward here.
Yeah, I'd like to see DT start upgrading his glass rather than moving into electronics labs. I mean, he's not even producing electronics, and he's going for an upgrade for him.
More EMPs raining down. This is another mark of good players, just black market all the time.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. You've got to make use of it in 1v1.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful tool in 1v1. Well, extra claim auction. This definitely favors Blues. This is something he wanted to see right now.
No.
No?
It's a debt situation like Blues. Yeah, Blues can definitely afford. He can definitely afford it.
Yeah. Blues easily affords it. It helps him catch up against the expansive claim advantage.
Yeah,
Really
he
important.
needed to take that, definitely.
Another thing to consider that's interesting, though, another reason the Optimization Center, in my opinion, kind of favors DT, not only did he pick it up, but getting a building like this, Optimization Centers, generally speaking, reduce on-world prices. And the big disadvantage that someone like an expansive player or a scientific player has against a robot is, of course, the fact that they consume life support and they keep gaining debt. But if you can keep on-world prices for that debt a little bit low, and just move into something like Offworlds because you're an expansive player and your Offworlds are ridiculously cheap, then suddenly the life support isn't so much of a problem. So the Optimization Center both lowers life support costs and encourages Offworlds on the map, which both of these concepts are going to favor Death Tacticus as we move toward the late game here.
Exactly. I don't know why he brought that freeze down.
That was weird.
Not at that position. I think he was probably hoping it was going to bounce.
All the
But
way.
19. Oh, that's... Who's buying in? Blues. No?
DT says,
Jeez.
oh. Like, never mind. Oops. Not what he intended to do. That's interesting. I don't know why DT has bought up food right now.
That's an odd... I suppose it's dirt cheap, I suppose. If you got a little bit of cash lying around, you might as well snap it up. It's going to be useful at some point.
Well, okay. The argument in favor of it says that if I'm not making food and I don't have a food stockpile and my opponent buys a lot of food, suddenly I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He's cushioned himself against the debt that he's going to... Blues is moving out of the food now, which is a good move.
Well, yeah, dust storm going on right now. I mean,
Yeah, DT's finally moving into some electronics.
Blues, you can't scrap a farm and then build a farm. It doesn't work that way.
Oh dear.
Blues is wavering. He's struggling to recover. Actually, the farm might be okay purely because DT has made this purchase. It's kind of keeping Blues encouraged toward the food, even with the dust storm. But
yeah, I mean he's making a little bit of money on it, not a huge amount, but he went into his electronics there, which are going to do good for him. But DT's already ahead of him in that market, so
that carbon tile is still empty.
oh dear.
Finally, we see a
Finally.
nuke come down on water. I wanted to see this long ago.
He has got a carbon quarry going out. At last.
Good. It is headed out. That's good. In this little ship right here. Oh, little ship. I like that you exist these days. More important, although I'll be honest, I kind of miss the days when the little ship would come out and then completely miss its target. That was a fun little period.
We've seen some entertaining graphics, haven't we, over the course of the year?
Another claim auction over to Blues, by the way. This is that robotic advantage really showing itself, being able to pick up all these extra claims from these auctions. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, good advantage for the robot there. He's moving in some reactors. Which stray, don't know about that.
Market is online.
What are you nervous about?
Well, he's moved into reactors and there's not a... I suppose he wants to support his glass production, but... I don't know.
I'm okay with the reactors, I think. I mean,
I suppose fuel...
fuel's not great, but oxygen's pretty decent. And what else do you make on this map, I think, is the more important detail.
Yeah, but it's costing him money to swap out of his food, and his food wasn't
It's true.
terrible.
The swapping out of the food part is a little bit questionable because food is just going up in price. He can see that his opponent doesn't have food down. He's choosing to enter a market where he's competing instead of a market where he has a monopoly.
Yeah.
And paying money for the privilege to do it, which is always questionable.
Yeah, and time as well. But he has moved into a couple of labs, which losing money at the moment.
So I want to point out that if you're going to get a patent lab, this is the map to do it on.
Yeah.
Look at this carbon price, 206, 208. On top of that, DT had a very specific plan in mind when building this patent lab. Immediately grabs thinking machines on a map that has dynamite, on a map that has power surges and EMPs. Huge tools to knock down an off-world market. So DT just says, I want to push to that off-world market game that we have been talking about since that optimization center came up. He knew he wanted to do this. He gets the patent lab, secures thinking machines to support his off-worlds, and he's ready to move into the late game.
Yeah, that's a good move. A very good use of Patent Lab, as you say.
And that's all he got out of that Patent Lab. Immediately scraps it.
I might have thought of going into carbon scrubbing.
Carbon scrubbing might have been an acceptable decision, but once again, I mean, you've got dry ice ready to go, and on top of that, you're already sitting on the optimization center, which is increasing the price of chemicals. It makes your Patent Lab more expensive to use. And so he's kind of already covered carbon scrubbing in a lot of ways by getting this extra carbon production down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then a Patent Lab auction comes up. Do you take it back and put a pleasure dome there?
I would probably go for nanotech first and then put a
That's
pleasure
fair.
dome down, because
Nanotech might be
price
okay.
of power is quite high, and we have got a robot on the board as well. So
I mean, superconductor, perpetual motion. You have options here. So, one reason you would go for that Patent Lab. Also, I do want to point out that this second Offworld market is awkwardly placed, choosing to use the Goon Squad instead of the Thinking Machine's advantage. I'm actually kind of okay with it, purely because Blues has already committed one black market cooldown to tearing through the initial Goon Squad, so he's not necessarily going to run a rotate off that Offworld, have to blast through another Goon Squad. It creates a very awkward circumstance for Blues here, where he has to decide, do I go after the Goon Squad, or do I go after the unprotected one?
yeah, but DT's only going to be paying 14k for a goon. I mean, I'd take the Thinking Machine bonus any day over a 14k goon.
Yeah, Thinking Machine bonus is very useful. He did commit an entire Patent Lab to that, it is worth noting. DT takes the Patent Lab back, but it's not interfering with his production anymore, anything like that. He can have this Offworld down close to his base.
Which is now in pieces, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of them is. The other one's up now, though. Which is actually super important, because that is going to finish his launch and allow him to secure that last bit of stock he needs to protect himself from Blues. And Blues doesn't really have a solid path forward from that point in the game. After your opponent's pushed to double Offworld, you're sitting on none. Secured his 5 stock, has Optimization Center and a Patent Lab. All Blues can do is sell out and try and find some path back in from here.
I mean, he's got an Offworld going up at the moment, but it's going to be hard for Blues to come back, I think.
Absolutely.
DT has just got the edge.
Well, the Offworld and Thinking Machine's advantage should pretty easily carry DT through on this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Not going to be difficult for him to weather any black market storm Blues can throw his way. Blues is only a robotic, not a scavenger colony. Blues sitting on the cash, but doesn't have the Offworlds. So important.
He has nuked one of the waters down. I'd be very tempted, if I could, to get a nuke and...
Do you keep nuking? Forget the
Well,
Offworlds?
I would definitely... that's the thing now, it's a little bit late.
It is.
You've
I think
got
it is
to
late.
focus. Got to focus. Keep your black markets, get your goons, keep your off-world markets protected. Maybe get an adrenaline boost running.
I would have really liked, I think, to see a lot more nukes come out a lot faster in this game. Nuke most heavily underutilized black market.
Yeah, water was very vulnerable early on.
Even with these tiles up at high levels, I mean, no adjacency on them whatsoever.
No,
Makes
that's
things
it.
really awkward for Death Tacticus, potentially. Like, you force him to upgrade water or get slant drilling to try and survive. With this optimization center, things just get weird. And he hasn't upgraded water at all, which shows that there's almost certainly been a mistake this game.
He hasn't needed to, has he? He hasn't
No.
been forced into it.
And he could have been.
Then Blues is now getting the second off-world up.
Blues had to cancel it to secure his last bit of stock, though.
Oh yeah.
Like, he
He's
got all
under
that
pressure.
back. He sold down, it looks like. I mean, steel suddenly is at $1. And boosts on these off-worlds that are defended by goon squads. I think that's just going to be the nail in the coffin there.
Yeah, I think so. I think DT's going to clean up pretty quickly.
Now, Blues is fighting back because, well, he is a fighter. Doesn't like losing. Not going to give it up easily, but... I think we can call this one just about done.
I think so.
Just disappointed.
Gonna throw a nuke at the goon squatted water is Blues.
Oh dear.
I mean, all Blues really has to nuke maybe is this carbon tile out here. That's not really... I mean, he could have his water nuke too, right? But
I would definitely nuke Blues' water. I would definitely get him out. Well, he's only got 2 farms running, so...
yeah.
Um,
And DT kind of collapsing into debt, but doing it at that perfect time when you're threatening to close out the game, so it doesn't really matter.
nah, he can afford to...
Now, I don't
Take
like that
credit
DT
there.
has his own stock right now. Blues is going to sell out. DT just has
Yeah.
to notice. Blues is like, come on, finish it. There we go. DT realizes what's going on. Goes ahead, cleans up the game. Good early lead toward DT. Going up 1-0 in the series. That was well played by him.
Yes, definitely. It looked very rocky for him to start off with, but he came back very, very well.
Now,
Yes.
I gotta describe that optimization center auction as fortunate.
Yes. Came at the right time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, early enough that you can get good use out of it, but late enough that you can actually afford to pay for it. And on top of that, I mean, it's on a cheap chem map without labs, so it's easy to use. And just optimization centers are just something that kind of lean the expansives away. Robots typically, I think, like shorter games that kind of finish
Yeah.
up in the mid game when they've used their I have cheap upgrades advantage very effectively. The expansive players always like to push for that late game. Get up their 5 upgrades, get their off-worlds cheap and going, and just sit back bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, I think once any other, I mean, as soon as DT overtook Blues in upgrades, like upgrading
Blues is
his
in
HQ,
trouble.
yeah. If you're overtaking the robot player, then the robot's not doing it right.
Yeah, and a lot of that just comes down. We never really looked at the end game for there, but we knew most of what went down during all that. And a lot of what it comes down to is just those mid-game black market uses, like tools and how they were committed and who hit what when made all kinds of difference.
Yeah, excellent use of the black market. I mean, it was constantly, as soon as the cooldown was done, it was buy another black market effect and hit your opponent with it, which you've got to do at this level. You've got to use every single advantage that you can possibly find.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to game number 2, best of 3 series between Det Tacticus and Blues. Close game in the first one. Blues just stumbling a bit, getting tripped up by black market, and DT's going to end up taking it in the late game on the back of his thinking machine's off-world markets. But it's a new game, new territory. Bit of an odd one, perhaps.
A severe lack of water.
Yeah, but a lot of ice, which is significantly better now than it ever has been before in a 1v1 tournament. So it'll be interesting to see if either player values making sure to have access to it. Well, DT, he's going to found in the ice.
Robotic colony
In a bit of
founded.
an odd position in a lot of ways.
That was brave.
Brave is indeed a word for it.
Blues is saying, nope, that's my water. You're on ice.
Yeah, you're on ice for this game, is what Blues is going to
Yep.
say. Crushes
That's
the water
it.
with the robot. Which is a strategy that we talk about a lot, but we don't actually see executed all that often. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what Blues does with this going forward.
I'm slightly surprised that neither one of them took a chance and went for scavenger. Although the carbon's not really that well placed.
I'm actually really surprised we didn't see Scavenger. I think the only reason Blues didn't go Scavenger is because he could crush all this water with a robot. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have seen it.
But he could use that water as a scavenger. I mean,
No, he
I know
could.
it's a little bit far away, but he could have crushed some of the... He could have gone down on this nice iron patch here.
I'm getting
That's-
blamed for the maps again.
Expansive
Oh.
colony expanded.
Quit moaning.
Yeah, exactly. Quit whining. You guys are fine.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about the maps. You just play the game. But you can tell both of them are off to such a sluggish and slow start this time that they've got time to complain about them.
Colony expanded.
Yeah, well...
That Tacticus says he found it wrong. They're just having a nice little discussion about the game as they're playing.
Don't mind us.
That's what expensive steel does to these games sometimes, I guess. Just off to a bit of a sluggish start always.
Yeah, I'm sure they're never going to take water.
Well, there's the freeze. A bit of an interesting one, actually. I don't know. I actually know that I completely disagree with that freeze.
And why do you disagree with that?
It could have hit the iron.
Well, he's got a part of the iron.
Only a small part of it, though. I like
Yeah, but DT's got iron triangle, so he's just crushed it.
Yeah, but he didn't have to. You give your... Look. If you freeze the iron, you give the opponent the chance to run steel mills and lose money with them. If you freeze the steel mills, your opponent can't lose money anymore. Because iron doesn't consume anything. You always got to open up the chance for your opponent to screw up massively. Because they will.
Yeah, I'd rather take the iron profit. The steel profit. No, that's just me. That's probably why I keep losing.
It might be.
The
At least if
black
today's
market
games
is
have been
online.
any indication. Well, as DT says Blues is basically dead already. And I gotta say, he may be right. These steel mills all next to each other, no splits this time, has left Blues very vulnerable to all this black market.
Are you still disapproving of that freeze? I think that's good.
Oh no, I did definitely disapprove of the freeze, initially. And I still do, because once again, if you target iron, you hit all the steel anyway.
That second one, though, that's put him so far
But of
behind.
course, once you do the first one, you have to do the second one, because you've knocked iron down to $8.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
gotta
getting
follow
back
that.
up again.
No, that's especially with this little triangle over there.
Blues is just completely committed to this idea. He says, alright, look, I already did this, I'm just gonna stick to it.
Yeah, he's doubling down, isn't he?
That's left everything in a bit of an awkward position, because, once again though, DT, with this potential life support problem long term,
Yeah.
he's got
The
geos
long-
going up now though.
Longer it goes, the harder it's going to be for him. Geos,
But
2
Blues
geos.
has to keep up, and he's just not is the problem. If Blues can get to 3, if he can get Dynamite down on these geos, if
He
all
needs
these
to get
things.
Yeah, he needs to get into food or something. If he
Or
gets
just
into
get
food
solar
quick.
panels down at some point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
solar
gotta
panels.
stop DT from getting these geos up. That is so crucial. You need to be the one selling down the power.
Yeah. He's got one blown up, which is good.
There's
The
the
other
upgrade.
one's got a goon squad on, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that
Yes.
explosion happened a bit early on the Geo, but that's totally fine with how far away it is in particular. And it avoids the Goon Squad.
Yeah. And he's got repair popping out there, which should be alright.
Well, here we are, water pumps for Blues. And this is
Yeah.
silicon quarries instead of going straight into
Oh,
power
that's
production.
Expansive
Odd.
colony
The
expanded.
black market
Yeah,
is
silicon
online.
not very expensive right now.
That isn't a very odd move.
Definitely a strange decision, I would say there.
What? I don't know. What does he want to do with? That's
The black
crazy.
market is online.
Well, here come the solar condensers for DT on the ice. Look at this. I mean, 2.62 water a second from just these solar condensers.
Doing good
Very
work for
strong
him.
during the day.
Yeah, if we get a solar flare as well, I mean, those are going to go mental.
Absolutely.
And Blue's going into some solar panels, which I'm sure are going to get shut down momentarily.
Well, DT just spent his black market cooldown on a boost, so Blues is going to do the same. And I think
Right.
Blues gets a pretty nice benefit out of this. Blues wants to get rid of this power price. He just doesn't want it to exist
You
anymore.
shouldn't buy this and use it on the
No.
enemy. That would be
No.
mean.
Oh, that's an auction and a half right there.
Yes,
That's gross that happened.
that's got to be worth a lot.
This is worth so much. I don't even have any clue. Do you pay 32 for this? Do you pay more?
Who's got the debt? Blues. I don't know. I'd be wary of
Yeah,
it.
DT says 32. I mean, yeah, you just keep pushing. This is so important. Like, if Blues gets the power surge, it hits the food, and DT's not making money anymore. If DT gets the power surge, it hits these solar panels, and then DT gets to pay down all his debt. But, like, Blues is put in a position where, okay, now all of his power is just going to pay for this one power surge. Oh, and it actually hit the geotherm instead of the food. I can't agree with that decision.
What?
On any level. I think that's actually just 100% a solid mistake out of Blues.
Yeah. That should have gone on the food, no question.
Look at how upsetting this is, though. Like, he spent $48,000 for that, and he's basically already paid that back in his debt, and there lands the EMP. Painful. Painful stuff happening for Blues right now.
Oh, that's an expensive mistake.
Oh, man.
Wow. I can't believe he didn't do the food.
I can't believe he didn't hit the
Market is
food either. It
online.
would have left a market open that he could transition into more effectively here. It would have given him options to move forward, I think, freezing out this food. But failing to do that, I think DT's set himself suddenly in a great position to go ahead and win this one. I mean, Blues was already talking about how far behind he is, and now HQ5 to HQ3.
Expansive
Ooh.
versus the robot as well. And the silicon as well. I can't.
Yeah, 2 silicon, like, it let him get these solar panels up, but glass wasn't an option to transition into. The colony's consuming electronics instead of glass because of machine shops. It's just...
He took 2 as well, which is just. Oh,
I think
horrible.
Blues just maybe tilted a bit hard after
Yeah.
that initial game, and it's been having trouble just putting all the pieces together from there. It, like, especially because doing something like founding on top of the water as a robotic player instead of going for that extremely powerful, as we've seen, scavenger potential location. That's not like Blues. Blues usually likes scavenger quite a bit. We saw him use it very effectively just an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like a very emotional thing and not a very well thought out game plan to go forward with.
The
Well,
black
yeah,
market
especially
is
seeing
online.
how DT settled as well. I'd be fancying myself to take him, especially with the scavenger. Seeing
Yeah.
what's on the black market as well, the adrenaline boosts.
Well, and the
EMPs.
EMP, yeah, that's such a big deal. Well, especially because, let's say you go scavenger on this map. Either your opponent takes water, and you can kind of like pirate it away from him, try and cause problems with it, maybe dynamite it because it's going to be really far away from his base that it turns up to be worth it, and you cause problems for his water on that map. Or he takes the ice, and then you just EMP it and slowdown strike it non-stop as a scavenger and cause big problems during the day, and then don't worry about it at night because, well, it's nighttime and ice condensers don't work at night.
Exactly.
Blues is going to take it for 24,000. That patent lab, though, I mean, it's just, let's be honest, this game's
Why?
looking pretty darn over.
Yeah. What's he going to do with it? I don't understand what he's going to do with it.
You see, what this does is it adds more debt to Blues, and that makes it easier for Death Tacticus to kill him quickly so he can get out of this game.
He's already got something else to do, hasn't he?
Slowdown strike all over these tiles. It's just...
Oh, he's having a terrible time of it.
Yeah, Blues just can't find a market to be in, which is exactly what happens when you're stuck back at HQ3. Blues finally just going to go ahead and give it up. DT starts the buy. Blues knows he doesn't have the tools he needs to defend it, and that's going to be a much faster series than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Over to DT 2-0.
Yeah, I was really hoping we were going to get a third game out of that. We're really looking forward to it.
Is this the deepest DT has ever gotten into a tournament?
I think it might be.
Fantastic player, but never does well in a tournament. Had to run into another player that is known for choking in order to make it into the semifinals. It's unfortunate. Both these players are excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
I'd be scared to take either one of them on.
Yeah, absolutely. I do not like running into them in normal games, quite frankly. And so...
Yeah, and I said recently, the last couple of weeks, DT has just become an absolute beast.
Yeah, he does.
Before that, you could always have one little opportunity against him. If you managed to get in, then you were probably going to win the game. But recently, but Blues as well. Blues has been playing extremely well the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I had really high hopes. Well, it happens.
Hard loss in a lot of ways for Blues. I mean, that one just kind of feels bad when it's HQ5 to HQ3. it's like something has clearly gone terribly wrong, and if you knew what it was, you probably would have done things differently, but
Yeah.
I just didn't like the robot found. Looking back on it, looking at all the different details, the machine shops going on at the colony, the available scavenger carbon very easily, the strong black market.
Yeah, I don't. I can see why he went for it, but I don't know. Robot is robot. Not something I'm massively keen on, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh man. Difficult. Hard loss for Blues. Hard loss for Blues. But still, well done by DT. I mean, to just crush such a strong player as Blues like that, because that second game, that was
Yeah,
a stomp in a lot
that
of
was
ways.
just a
That's-
rollover.
That's very well done by Death Tacticus, especially because, as he said, I didn't really envy his founding location either, and he got to pick it on an empty map.
Yeah, I would have very much fancied myself against somebody founded in that location.
Yeah, so very, very well done by him, not only to survive, but to thrive in that location very effectively this game. Gotta commend him for that, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. But it was the early black market. I think that first hit really set him up, and then that second hit came down, and after that it was difficult for Blues to come back from. And he just didn't have the claims, and that carbon.
Didn't have the claims, didn't have the money. Just
Sorry, silicon, not carbon.
But yeah.
That was the nail in the coffin, I think.
I think so. That was just committing 2 tiles to that. It's like committing 2 tiles so you can eventually get power, but you're kind of creating really awkward situation, and then you've got 2 silicon tiles long term that you really don't want.
It was just yuck.
Yeah.